Hey everyone, it's Jason here from Earl of Five Games talking about Heroes and Hardships. Today this is going to be a little bit of a tutorial. I get this question, or I've got it a couple times, and I've always found it slightly strange. And the question usually comes when I start talking about power levels. And just a quick rundown of what power levels are in Heroes and Hardships. Power levels allow you to set the world up in a way that allows for how strong adversaries and how strong you are in the game. Everything is equivalent, but the question is like, do you want your characters to be able to do more? Do you want them to be more fantastical? Do you want them to be stronger, have more abilities, etc., etc.? So, in the core rulebook, the power levels go from power level 1 to 3. And basically the way it works is power level 1 have less attribute points to give or roll for, and 3 has the most. And for those that do know how character creation works, what happens is all your points are derived from how many attributes you have for everything else. That's skills, abilities, ancestry traits, etc. So if you're in a power level 3 game, you get more things. Okay, so you're gonna have like more abilities, more ancestry traits, etc. Okay, so this question I've gotten a few times is, can you create Superman? which is kind of funny. Can you create Superman in PL3? And my initial answer is, well, yes, but a true Superman probably would be not a starting character. And you know, I don't understand like why this is a question. It's like, well, why can't you do Superman as a starting character? I also had a playtester once ask me, told me he wanted to play basically a Professor X type character, and I said, well, yeah, you can do that, but you know, it's not a beginning character build. And it's very strange because, and in some games, you know, if you take D&D for example, and you say, well, I want to play, you know, Drizzt Do'Urden, you know, well, yeah, you can try, you can be kind of like that, but you know, you're not going to have all the skills and abilities and be as good as him right off the bat at level 1. And it's strange that people don't like recognize that that's not a case across most role-playing games. But in Heroes and Hardships, you can get close to doing something like that right off the bat. And so what I'm going to show you here is a build of the Man of Steel, Superman, right off the bat. We're going to do a PL3 version of Superman. The way I usually build things is I go do PL1, PL2, then PL3 of the same character. That way I have it for every power level I possibly could want. So that gives me ways to go back and use this character for any power level. So I'm going to go power level 1 through 3. I'm going to do them all for you, and you can see here. I'm going to reference my book, which probably won't be on the screen, but when you get your books, you'll be able to do the same, and you'll see me creating a version of Superman with no experience points, just PL 1 through 3. So I'm going to do the best I can to make Superman. Yeah, I'm gonna make Superman as best I can here. So we'll do the pick method to make it easiest here. So for the pick method, I'm gonna go in here, save the changes to the Man of Steel, and here we have our 13 attributes, and we're going to use them all. We use Fate as well, so everything starting at 1 is fine, and we're at PL1, so I'm going to, so everything has to be a minimum of 1 except Fate, but I'm keeping everything, so it will. So, let's see. Without telling you exactly how to do this, let's do 4 for strength. That's the maximum he can have. Probably 4 endurance. He's an alien. What else? What else? He's pretty knowledgeable. Pretty smart. Willful, what do we have? 24, 25. See, and this is the character sheet on Roll20, and you can see it keeps track of everything for you, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. At least a 2 there. Probably a 2 in both of those as well. 22, 28, is that where we're at? 28, yeah. Decisions. Okay. So, we've done our attributes for the Man of Steel. 4 strength, 2 agility, 2 dex, 4 endurance, 3 intelligence, 3 knowledge, 2 senses, 3 will, 2 presence, 1 imp, 2 communications, and 1 influence, and 1 fate. I might want to raise that fate though, now that I'm looking at it. So let's go here. Whoops. 2 and 2. I think that's probably good. Okay, we're at power level 1 right now. So the next thing we're going to do is skills. So we have skills. This is going to remind me of how many skill points I have for each of these. Maybe he's going to have 4 hand-to-hand, so that's going to be 5 skill points there. 8, 10, 12. Resilience. That's 9. Probably 1 dodge. Oops, not 2. But athletics. Okay. So that's what I'm going to give him for now. There. And I'm doing this pretty quickly, and I'm not telling you exactly how it's done, because this is not a character about character creation. It's about me being able to create a specific character. And just trust me that I'm doing it correctly, obviously, as the creator of this game. But yeah. So... I would say 5, 8, 10. Okay. That's 6, 7. 8, 9, 10. Okay. Alright. Those are his skills there, and I'll go through all these after I'm done. So he's got 6 here. How about 1 persuasion? Kind of does that. That's 2. It's 3, 4. 5, 6. Okay. Alright, I'll do that. And then empathy, he'll have 1 in focus, and then I get to put that other point someplace else. And then I think I'll put it over here in athletics. Okay, so in his physical, he has 3 athletics. That's basically how strong you are, what you can do, move things, push things, carry things, that kind of thing. Hand to hand is punching and kicking, wrestling. His dodge, it's dodging other attacks. Endurance is resilience and stamina. Stamina is the will to, or the ability to keep going even when you're hurt or tired. Resilience is basically how well you resist injury. He doesn't have any dexterity skills, so we'll close that up. Intelligence, investigation, just what it sounds like. Knowledge, career, and lore. Career is the one that's a little different than everything else, and it's kind of a catch-all skill for your career, and I'm just going to give him the journalist career, actually. Courage, fortitude, and harness. Courage is, not being scared. Fortitude is mental strength against magic and things like that. Harness is a magical skill, like shooting laser beams out of your eyes, for instance. Senses, reactions. That's how quickly you act under pressure. Presence, acting. That's basically him disguising himself as a journalist. He's not real great at it, which I think is probably fair. It always kind of goes over everybody's head that he looks exactly like Superman, but he's still, Lois, it's not me. You can't see my face, but if I put on a different coat, Shape is like speed and things like that. Read person. That's basically detecting lies and things like that, detecting moods, influence, nothing there. Fate is your magical skill, basically, and focus does some things with magic that we're not going to talk about here exactly. So we're done with skills, and you can see this is not taking too long at all. It's just what you want to pick, and of course I know the rules, but once you do it a few times, it's really quite simple. Alright, so now is the abilities, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write on a scratch paper here what my skill totals are for each one. So physical, I have 12. Physical, 12. Mental, I have 10. Social, 5. And fate, I have 1. Now, keep in mind that you would you probably would not make a Superman for PL1, so this is going to be very pared down Superman. But I'm going to try to get there for PL3 at the very least. So ability names. So these are all abilities and flaws, and I'm going to go through and look at these. Look at some of these. I'm going to pause the recording while I do, so you're not just listening to me ramble about what I'm going to select. And this is probably the longest part of character creation, just deciding what you're going to take, and that's just kind of what it is when you have a lot of choices to make. So he's Kryptonian, right? We should just fill that out real quick. Ancestors, so his ancestry is Kryptonian. And Kryptonians have things they can do. Journalist. Age, well, we don't really know. Gender, male. Mode of movement is walk by default. He will get fly. That's the first thing we'll do. So let's look at what we would do for that. So he's gonna get change of movement and ancestry traits. I'm just gonna pick them. GMs can create new ancestry traits and have a list of specific traits that they can take. I'm not going to go into that detail with this, but he would be able to take that, and this is called extra mode of movement. So basically you can add an extra mode of movement, in addition to walk. So he's going to take fly, and we're going to go over here and extra mode of movement. That costs 6, and this is fly, and gains flight, and +1 speed while flying. So I'm just going to change his speed to 2. Yeah. So I'm going to use a flaw to offset that because it's ancestry trait, but what flaw am I going to take is the question. Now, the obvious one is kryptonite, right? So we're going to do that. So there's a sensitivity flaw. There's two of them, actually. There's one that's extreme and then one that's not. I'm just going to pick sensitivity extreme, which could kill him in certain cases, right? Okay, so that is what that's going to do. So create tonight. Yeah. So there we go. We've done that. So taking the next thing, there is another ancestry trait that would be good for him, and that is essentially impervious. Impervious is basically doesn't let you take much damage. So let's do a some impervious here, and I'll try to think of how many I can get away with taking in PL1. Probably 2 for 12. I think that's quite a bit. So add 4 times PL times 2 to armor resistance. All. Okay, so that does a lot there. So that's 12, and I'm going to see if I can offset any of that with a flaw. I would say he kind of has a bit of as a cultural naivete, I would say a bit, and I'm going to add that as well as a flaw. So that'll help offset that. But you know, every character, and I'm building him as a character, not as a foe or a minion, which have special rules. So he's getting built as a character. So each character actually gets one flaw, and it's just you just get it. And so that could be that cultural naivete, because I'm trying to think of any other flaws that he might have, and I'm thinking. He does have a secret identity, so maybe that is one of them. But that is actually an ability. So I think that cultural naivete, at the very least, I can use that. Is it cultural naivete? I can't remember what it's actually called. Social naivete. Where is it? Yeah, cultural naivete. So, and this can be kind of severe. So that's a 2-level flaw. It means it counts off against 6 total. So it's going to totally take over that, and it basically auto fails on some uses of some skills. I'm not actually adding what cultural naivete does. So you can cultural. You can find out what that does when you look at the. Oh man, having some spelling difficulties. Okay, so there's that. So right now he's blank still. I believe, yes, he is. He'll have to take one more flaw. Period. And you don't have to load up on flaws. You don't have to take any flaws if you don't want to. I'm just trying to present him as best I can from my knowledge of what Superman probably should look like. And since somebody like Superman actually does take a lot of abilities to build, this is a good way to help do that. And like any good superhero, he has a lot of flaws, right? I think the other flaw that I'm going to add for his sort of his baseline flaw, which all characters get, is obligation, and then Lois, right? So that's a baseline flaw. So basically he has an obligation to Lois, and he has to do everything he can to help her, and that sort of thing. Alright, I think that kind of works. Alright, so now we're at 0, but we still have lots of places to go. We haven't spent any ability points yet, but we will here because he's got to take superpowers. Superpowers. And it costs 6. And I will take that out of... I'll take it out of mental, I think, probably. Minus 6. That leaves me with 4 left there. And then I'm going to take the power energy blast. Energy blast. This is for shooting laser beams out of his eyes. And I'll have to decide how much I want to spend on it because it's a power. So yeah, so this is a power. And so powers cost different amounts based on how much their top of their valid effects are. So when I say that, each manifestation, which are the building blocks of powers and spells, allow you to change or modify, enhance really, certain parts of the manifestation, like targets, range, potency, it's what it's called, other things like that. So let's do that. So gotta figure out how much it's gonna cost, because typically spells, when you get a spell, that actually only costs 4 ability points, but a power is much different because you're buying them with a stronger ability, and those are under general powers, and there it is. Okay, so I think with Superman, targets, I've never seen him target more than one person at once. So that's going to just stay at 1. The range is going to have to change a little bit because it's touch by default. Sometimes I guess I've seen him do it at a pretty good range, but usually pretty close up, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 levels of, and this might get a little better as we go up in PLs, but a total of probably 4 levels, I think, which is going to be expensive, an extra 8. So this is going to cost 12 ability points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up 2 levels in potency, so he's going to do 15 damage instead of 5, and then range, he'll do so touch, 2 hexes, 4 hexes, so he'd be at 4 hexes units. Okay, hexes units. So, and that's going to cost a total. Oh, that's not superpower. Sorry. Let's move that down here, and that's going to cost 12. Okay. So that is pretty expensive. So I'm just going to subtract. So it's general, so I can subtract it from multiple places at once, right? So I'm going to do minus 12 totals. That's 9. So I'm going to empty mental, empty social. That's 9, and then 3 more off physical. That puts that at 9, and fate 1. So that was very expensive for Superman there. Okay. So those are all good. I'm trying to think of other things that are obvious. I think probably increasing his speed with an ancestry trait again, so he's even faster than speed 2. He should be pretty fast. When you get flight, in any case, you get a +1 speed. I did show that earlier, but you can also increase your speed more than that. So I'll do the speed. I think it's fast ancestor trait. So I'm gonna put in fast here, fast 1. Fast 1, that's +1 speed again, and that's going to cost 6. Okay, and we are at, so that's minus 6, so we're at 3 and 1 on fate. So we got a total of 4, depending if it matters, and then so speed is up to 3. Yeah, so very fast, can fly. One is a big thing is actually the hand-to-hand stuff, And it just so happens we have 4. And there's a ability called Stone Hands, which allows you to do lethal damage hand to hand, and we'll take that for him. Stone Hands, and that's 4, and that would be all of our points. So that's a PL1 Superman. The damage. So that's a PL1 Superman. Let's go ahead and change all our characteristics. Base defense 10, magic defense 12, mental defense 12, 18, 9, 36, 13, 26. I tell you, I wouldn't want to face this guy in a PL1 fight. I really wouldn't. So let's go ahead and we'll bump his gear so he doesn't have any weapons. So here he is impervious. So impervious is 4 times PL for each level to each thing. So it's 8 on each one. He has 2 levels of it. So everything has an AR of 8, and AR is armor reduction. So this is gonna soak a lot of stuff on every single possible aspect, and then he would be done. Yeah, it's really that easy. So it took me a little bit here, and I've paused a couple times to look at some abilities to see which one I wanted to pick. But see, this is a PL1 Superman, and I think we're pretty close to exactly what he is. Yeah, he's not probably as strong as what Superman is, but also you have to keep in mind he's probably one of the strongest people in a PL1 game, because everything is relative to what level you're in. So that is also to be really considered, that he's probably one of the strongest dudes, because he has that 4 strength, right? Okay. All right, and then we'll upgrade him to PL2. Okay, so he's going to get some more attributes points for PL2. I'm going to increase those. First, I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'm not going to do that yet. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe not. Do this instead. Okay. There I am. So I'm gonna flip this to PL2. Cool. And he also can fly too. Oh no! Wait, I have to go back. I have to go back just for my. I'll probably just cut this out. PL1. See, I do this so I can keep track of each different one. I duplicate it, and then I come in here, and then now I have a PL2 version. That's how I do it for those of you using Roll20. And if you need any of these guys that I already have, I'm happy to give them to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's the PL2 version. Let me make sure the PL1 isn't still. Makes things wrong. Okay, so PL2. So we have this. So now we're going to come down here, and I kind of have to. If you're doing it this way, you have to kind of keep track of some things that you've already done. So I know I've put I've hit some caps in here and moved a fate in here. So 12. So he should have 12, 15. Okay, so we're going to go up to 15. 1. Okay, so that's where we should be. Yeah, okay. And then mental skills 10, 7, 9, 12. So I'll bump these by 2 somewhere. Probably I'll bump this one and this one up. That's a tough decision. Yeah, I'll look at it. Social skills. I think that these are all the same, so that doesn't change. Fate. I'll just focus it 2, and then 1 goes someplace else, and it's gonna go up here again. Maybe not. Let's actually put it. Let's put it in harness. Boom. Okay. So now we're good. We're good. So skills are good. Abilities. Abilities is doing it this way is you just have to be careful that all the numbers match up exactly, right? So so I'm going to count my total. I think actually this is the only physical ability that I had. Only categorized ability is Stone Hands. Everything else is either general or an ancestry trait. So that's fine. So that's all matched out. Baseline flaw 6, 18, 24, 28. So I have a total of 28 points that I've spent. So now I'm at 32. 32, and so that's actually only 4 more. So I gotta figure something for 4 to get that makes sense for him. So what would it be? And you know, if I just went directly and did a PL3 version without like stacking onto a PL2 version or a PL1 version, I probably could do this even better. Because I wouldn't be limited by like choices right now, right? Because right now I only have 4 ability points to spend, but like say if I wanted to take Grit, I have to spend 6, so I can't take it right now. But if I went straight to PL3, I could probably take it instead. So, and the question is, where did I add? I probably added them in physical and mental. So. It's kind of a change there. So keep in mind that you might not build your character exactly this way. So what I can do instead of actually building on top of Superman from Superman 1 to Superman 3, I could just go in and straight build a new Superman for PL2 and then a new Superman for PL3, which would be fine. They would just have a little bit of difference between the two. Probably they might have a bit different of abilities and so on, but I think I could definitely make a PL3 Superman no problem. So I'm not going to go through that whole process actually, because I think I've done a pretty good job with Superman already. Honestly, I think that you know, there's definitely can do the things that Superman can do. Now, I'll tell you that a couple of things I did was I kind of prepared him to do things like be able to increase his speed even more, like with Alacrity, because you know, I always remember that. I don't remember which Superman it was, but one of the Supermans, the old ones from the 80s, where you know, Christopher Reeve is like flying around space. Just over and over and over again, or flying around the Earth in space, like changing the rotation of the planet or something like that. Yeah, that, you know, you're not going to easily be able to mimic something that like that in this game, but otherwise we did pretty good, I think. So I probably should actually go back in abilities and pare down his energy blast maybe, and then add like him being able to breathe in space, which that is an ability that he would be able to do that. So that might be something I would change and make this a little less beefy at this point. But yeah, I think I proved that you can make Superman. And I will have Man of Steel in one supplement somewhere down the line with some generic name, and you can use the character for your adversaries or as a possible one-shot PC. So thanks for listening in to me create Superman. Thanks again.